So, yesterday, my boyfriend, male 20, and I, male 22, were looking after my 14-year-old niece because her mom, who is a nurse, got called into work. While she was over, we decided to make some food. I had just taken the tray out of the oven, and my niece accidentally leaned her arm on it, burning herself. My boyfriend quickly rushed over and started to help her treat the burn. I won't go into detail why, but my boyfriend has a lot of experience dealing with burns and knows what he's doing. While that was happening, I texted my sister to let her know what happened and that my boyfriend is tending to my niece and that she will be okay. About 20 minutes later, my sister turned up at my place and rushed to see her daughter. She was obviously worried and examined the burn. After she calmed down, she turned to me and asked why I let my boyfriend treat my niece instead of waiting for her to come, since she's a nurse. Honestly, I was taken aback and didn't know how to respond. Her daughter was okay, so I didn't understand what the problem was. Later, my boyfriend told me that it's never a good idea to leave a burn untreated and that they need to be treated right away, even small burns. My sister kept telling me I was irresponsible for letting someone who isn't medically trained treat my niece. After that, she lectured her daughter for about 10 minutes on how to care for her burn, things my boyfriend had already told her, and then headed back to work. She was also really rude and gave me and my boyfriend angry looks when she picked her daughter up. Today, I got a call from our parents asking me why I couldn't look after my niece because her mom got called out again. I told them that my sister never called or asked us, which is strange because we are usually her first option since we live on the way from her house to the hospital. And due to mine and my boyfriend's schedules, at least one of us is almost always home. I'm trying to see my sister's side, but I'm honestly struggling to understand why she's so upset, to the point of not wanting us to watch my niece anymore. Would love any insight. And am I the idiot? Now, for a few comments before the update. Comment 1. Not the idiot. You handled it correctly. I don't understand how a nurse could think it's better to let a burn sit untreated. To be honest, she sounds irrational over the whole thing. Maybe she is upset because you weren't panicked enough and had the audacity to judge for yourself that things would be okay. Some parents cannot stand a calm adult when they feel their child is threatened. If it were a toddler, I could see her blaming you for the child getting burned, but a 14-year-old? No harm is done. And minor burns are an inevitable part of growing up, and how kids learn. If your sister is going to take away the privilege of you babysitting for free for her, that's her loss. Comment 2. Sister, are you saying that you would have preferred us delaying appropriate medical treatment? Are you saying you're actually okay with your daughter in pain, with a burn that was easily treated because of your ego? As an adult who cares for and loves my niece, I can't imagine a world in which I would allow her to suffer for 1 additional minute in order to await your arrival on the scene. If you are truly okay with delayed medical attention and blaming me and my partner for acting quickly, then I can no longer be in the position of providing care for my niece. Not the idiot. But your sister is a piece of work. Now for the update. Hey everyone, thanks for all the support on my last post. It's been a chaotic few days, and I've got quite the update for you all. So, after the whole burn incident with my niece, things between my sister and me were tense. I thought it would blow over, but boy was I wrong. The next day, my sister called me, and the conversation was intense. She accused my boyfriend of overstepping, saying that he should have known better than to treat a burn when he's not a medical professional. I tried to explain that he had experience with burns, but she wouldn't listen. Now, here's where things get steamy. My boyfriend overheard the conversation and confronted my sister the next time she came to pick up my niece. He told her about his past, how he used to be a firefighter before a traumatic event led him to change careers. That's why he knew how to treat burns so well. My sister was shocked. She had no idea about his history. They had a heated argument right there in my living room, and my niece was caught in the middle, looking more and more upset by the second. The confrontation ended with my sister storming out, taking my niece with her. My boyfriend was fuming, and I was caught between them, feeling like I was in a no-win situation. I thought that was the worst of it, But the next day proved me wrong. I got a text from my sister saying she wanted to talk. She came over and we sat down, just the two of us. She started crying, telling me that she was sorry for not trusting us. But then she dropped a shocker that left me reeling. She confessed that she had been seeing someone from the hospital, a doctor, and that things had gotten serious. She felt guilty for not being there for her daughter and was taking it out on us. I was stunned. My sister, who had always been so focused on her career and her daughter, was in a serious relationship, and she hadn't told anyone in the family. She explained that she was scared of how our parents would react, given that they're pretty traditional and she's a single mom. But here's the heartbreak. The doctor she was seeing is married. She found out after they had been together for a while, and she was devastated. She didn't know what to do, and the stress of it all was affecting her judgment. That's why she freaked out over the burn incident. She was already on edge. I didn't know what to say. I felt so bad for her, but I was also angry that she had let her personal life affect her relationship with me and my boyfriend. We talked for hours, and by the end, we were both emotionally drained. The next day, my boyfriend and I decided to give my sister some space. We didn't hear from her, and we didn't reach out. It was a quiet day, which was a relief after all the drama. But then, late at night, there was a knock on the door. It was my niece, in tears. She told us that she had overheard her mom on the phone with the doctor, and they were arguing. My niece was scared and didn't know what to do, so she came to us. We let her in, of course, and my boyfriend made her some hot cocoa while I tried to comfort her. It was a long night. My niece eventually fell asleep on our couch, and my boyfriend and I stayed up talking. We were both worried about my sister and my niece, and we felt helpless. We didn't know how to fix this mess, but we knew we had to be there for my niece, no matter what. The next morning, my sister came to pick up my niece. She looked exhausted, and I could tell she had been crying. She didn't say much, just thanked us for taking care of her daughter and left. I tell my mother-in-law I feel like a second best to my husband's late wife, and she makes it worse. Oh boy, she regrets it. My daughter-in-law Tasha, 40 years old, has been married to my son Nick, 42 years old, for 7 years. Nick has 3 children from his previous marriage to my late daughter-in-law Emma. My granddaughters are currently 16 and 15, and my grandson is 13. Nick and Tasha's relationship progressed quickly. They met 9 months after Emma passed away and got married 6 months later. One good thing they did was talk to the kids, even though their relationship moved fast, and reassured them that Tasha would not replace Emma. From what I witnessed, the transition was smooth, and the kids warmed up to Tasha quickly. Tasha and Nick added 2 more sons to the family, and everything has been going well. 3 weeks ago, Tasha confided in me that she was struggling with some stuff related to the older 3 children. I asked her about it, and she said she always assumed she would be as important as Nick and Emma in the kids' eyes by now. She loves the kids, but she feels like she comes second. She finds it hard when Emma is frequently mentioned and missed. Tasha clarified that she doesn't want the kids to forget Emma and would never claim that they are solely her children. However, after knowing them for 7 years and being heavily involved in raising them, she expected their relationship to resemble a more traditional nuclear family. She left shortly after expressing this, and I wondered if I should say something, but she was in a hurry to get home. I then decided that maybe she just needed to voice her feelings, and that might be the end of it. Then on Sunday, she confided in me again, and it was almost identical to what she had said before. I asked her where all of this was coming from. She said it was related to something my grandson wrote about Mom, and how not having a mom made him sad. However, he felt lucky to have a kind stepmom who wasn't mean like other stepparents. It made Tasha realize that she's always the second choice, and she didn't expect that after so many years, especially with my grandson. She told me she can't find happiness in being second best, and she wonders if it will be the same in another 10 years. I told her that it's very likely because you can't compete with a loving parent, and Emma was an exceptional mother. I assured her that it doesn't mean she's not an amazing stepmother. However, That is the role she plays in the lives of the older 3 kids, their stepmother. I told her that perhaps she had let her expectations get the best of her, which is understandable, but she needs to recognize that the kids will always love and miss their mom and wish she was still there. I explained that it's not an insult to her, but rather the reality of the family she married into. Tasha went from being sad to annoyed instantly. She asked me where my compassion had gone and if I didn't realize that I had made things worse for her. Am I the jerk? Now, for a few comments before the update. Comment 1. Not the idiot. Fact is that Tasha is not the mother of the oldest kids, and she never will be because they already have a mother, even though she is no longer here. It seems that Tasha thought that if she is around long enough, she would become more important than Emma to the kids, and when that didn't happen, she feels wronged. There is nothing that Tasha can do to make the kids see her as mom, because they don't want to. And if they are forced to start acting like Emma isn't their mom, I can guarantee that it is a one-way ticket to no contact when they grow up. Comment 2. No idiots here. It's possible she has her head on straight enough to not act on these feelings and thought you'd be a soft place to land. She perhaps didn't need a reminder as an immediate response. Leading with some reassurance as to her place in their lives, your opinion of how well she's managed and the wonderful family they've built could have really helped before launching into why her feelings and expectations were wrong. Now, for the update. Hey Reddit, back with an update on the situation with my daughter-in-law Tasha, who's been feeling like she's always second best to my late daughter-in-law Emma in the eyes of my grandkids. It's been a week since I last posted, and boy do I have some news for you. First off, let's talk about Tasha. She's been with my son Nick for a while now, and they've got 2 young boys together. Tasha's been a part of the family for 7 years, and she's been great with Nick's kids from his previous marriage. But as I mentioned before, she's been struggling with feeling like she's not as important to the older kids as their late mom, Emma. Now, on to the juicy stuff. After our last conversation, Tasha decided to take matters into her own hands. She arranged a family meeting without telling anyone what it was about. Nick and the kids were all confused, but agreed to sit down and talk. Tasha poured her heart out, telling the kids how much she loves them and how she's been feeling. She didn't hold back, explaining her desire to be seen as more than just a stepmom. The kids were shocked. They had no idea Tasha felt this way. The oldest, my granddaughter, spoke up first. She told Tasha that they love her and appreciate everything she's done for them. She explained that just because they miss their mom doesn't mean they don't see Tasha as a part of the family. My grandson, the youngest of the 3, even started crying, saying he didn't mean to hurt Tasha's feelings with what he wrote. Nick was the last to speak. He admitted he hadn't been as supportive as he should have been. He promised to make more of an effort to make Tasha feel valued in the family. It was a real eye-opener for him, and he apologized for not noticing her struggles sooner. But wait, there's more. Remember how Tasha was always feeling second best? Well, she's been doing some soul-searching and realized that she's been comparing herself to Emma too much. She decided to start therapy to work on her self-esteem and her role in the family. It's a big step, and we're all proud of her for recognizing she needed help. Now, let's rewind a bit to give you some context. Emma, my late daughter-in-law, was a beloved teacher in our community. She had a way with kids, and her passing left a huge hole in many lives, not just our families. Tasha knew she had big shoes to fill, and she's been doing her best ever since she joined our family. Back to the present, the family meeting turned out to be a turning point for everyone. The kids have been making more of an effort to include Tasha in their lives. They've started asking her for advice on things they would normally only talk to their dad about. It's been heartwarming to see. Nick has been stepping up too. He's been making sure to have one-on-one time with Tasha away from the kids, so they can strengthen their relationship. He's also been more vocal about his appreciation for her, both in private and in front of the kids. As for me, I've been doing my best to support Tasha through all of this. I've been checking in with her more often, making sure she knows she's not alone. I've also been reminding the kids to show their appreciation for her, which they've been doing without any prompting from me lately. Sis eats my shrimp pasta and ends up in ER, but then I find out her BF is cheating on her with our mom. Oh boy, she moves out and cuts contact with us before starting. This is a throwaway because my sister follows my main. English is not my first language, so I make small grammar mistakes. To start off, I, 20-year-old female, want to say my sister, 34 years old, is extremely allergic to shrimps. If the shrimp has touched anything, and then my sister touches it, she gets an allergic episode on her skin, which becomes red and itchy, but it usually stops after a while. One more thing. My sister and mom, 60 years old, don't understand the concept of privacy, asking for permission, so they eat each other's or my stuff most of the time. Yes, I live with my family while I try to save up to move out in the future. Please save it. I don't need to hear comments calling me a loser or telling me to move out already. Now for the story. The other day I had made pasta with shrimps, specifically only one plate for myself, since I know no one else eats it. I ate all the shrimps included, and I left some leftover pasta on the counter table, but I covered it on top with another plate, hoping to find it later to eat. I didn't think much of it, and went on with my day. I left the house for my French lessons. That day, my sister had told me she wouldn't come home because she would spend it with her friend, so I didn't tell anyone about it. When I came back, I was welcomed with lots of swearing and curses from my mom because my sister ate the pasta and her allergic episode started. So, my mom rushed her to the hospital. After a lot of fighting, she calmed down and said it's my fault. Thank God, my sister is fine. I just don't understand how this is my fault, because I have asked some of my friends, and they tell me I messed up for real. Am I the idiot for sending my sister to the hospital? A small edit because I saw some comments. 1. That day, when I was making the pasta, my sister had said she wouldn't come home and would spend the day with her dad. 2. As someone mentioned, when someone is allergic, they look out for the stuff they eat. The pasta had an extremely bad shrimp smell. I would never want to hurt my sister, so relax, it was an accident, you could say. One last edit to save everyone, because y'all are being crazy, but I accept what you say. 1. My sister wasn't home that day at all because she would have been with her dad. 2. My mom saw me cooking and didn't care. 3. In my country, it is very cold, so it really wouldn't harm the food. Plus, I was outside for 1 hour, so no, it wouldn't harm the food or me. 4. I love shrimps, that's why I ate all of them and left only some pasta for later. 5. I left it on the counter table. It smelled like shrimp. She didn't need to move it or touch it. It wasn't getting in the way of anyone. I write in caps because people only read half of anything I write. Thanks. Now, for a few comments before the update. Comment 1. Everyone sucks here, leaning towards you being the AH. Your family is okay with you cooking shrimp at home and just leaving it on the counter? Someone would have to touch it to move it. Clean up after yourself and put your stuff away. And whether or not they should ask before eating it, you know they don't. So why couldn't you just put a note on it? Petty revenge for taking your food shouldn't be to unalive someone. Growing up, food in the house was pretty much fair game. Do you ask before you can eat every item? Comment 2. Everyone sucks here. They shouldn't be eating your food. But, knowing that they do, what exactly did you expect to happen if it wasn't actually intentional to start with, when you remove all the visible shrimp and then leave it without a label? You knew this would happen consciously or subconsciously, but I have a sneaking suspicion it's the former, and that makes you a massive jerk. Now, for the update. Hey everyone, it's been a month since my last post and wow, a lot has happened. I never expected things to get so out of hand, but here we are. After the whole shrimp pasta incident, things at home got really tense. My sister was still pretty mad at me for what happened, even though it was an accident. She kept saying that I should have been more careful, and I guess she had a point. But I also felt like she could have been more careful about what she ate, especially knowing her allergies. Now, here's where things got really crazy. My sister had been seeing this guy, let's call him Mark, for a while. They seemed pretty serious, and I thought he was a decent guy. But then, one day, I came home early from my French lessons and walked in on Mark and my mom, kissing. I couldn't believe my eyes. It was like a scene from a soap opera, and I was standing there, frozen. I didn't know what to do, so I just backed out of the room and went to my own space, trying to process what I had just seen. I didn't tell my sister because I didn't want to hurt her, Nothly, but the guilt was eating me up inside. I mean, how do you even begin to tell your sister something like that? A few days passed, and I thought maybe it was a one-time thing and that it wouldn't happen again. But I was wrong. I started noticing that Mark was coming over even when my sister wasn't home, and he and my mom were getting way too close for comfort. Then, the confrontation happened. My sister came home early one day, and she caught them together. It was a mess. There was yelling, crying, and my sister was heartbroken. She couldn't believe that our mom and her boyfriend had betrayed her like that. I felt terrible for her, and I also felt guilty for not saying anything sooner. My sister moved out the next day. She said she couldn't stay in the house anymore, not with everything that had happened. I wanted to go with her, but I didn't have enough money saved up yet. So I was stuck in the house with my mom and the memory of what she had done. Since then, my sister hasn't spoken to either of us. She's completely cut us off, and I can't blame her. I miss her a lot, and I wish I could make things right, but I don't even know where to start. As for my mom, she's been trying to act like nothing happened. She keeps telling me that what she did with Mark wasn't wrong and that I should mind my own business. But I can't just forget about it. It's changed the way I see her, and our relationship has been really strained. And Mark? Well, he's out of the picture now. After the confrontation, he disappeared, and we haven't heard from him since. I guess he wasn't ready to deal with the consequences of his actions. If you like this video, you'll probably like these too. Also, while you're here, please consider subscribing. It's your support that keeps this channel alive and allows me to make better and longer videos. Have a great day.